It's common practice to rent an apartment in Nigeria without being issued a tenancy agreement. Today, I will teach you the basic rules that apply to tenancy relationships in the absence of a tenancy agreement. In the absence of tenancy agreements, there are rules and presumptions provided under the law that regulates your tenancy relationship. For instance, the law looks at the mode of your payment of rent to determine the type of tenancy. So if you pay rent on monthly basis, you are a monthly tenant. If you pay rent on yearly basis, you are a yearly tenant. But if you pay rent on quarterly basis, you are deemed to be a quarterly tenant. This classification is deemed to be very important because it affects the length of notice that your landlord must give you before eviction. Your landlord cannot just wake up at any time and ask you to leave your rented apartment without giving you adequate notice as provided under the law. The law provides for proper notice periods based on your tenancy type. For monthly tenants, the landlord must give at least 1 month notice before eviction. For quarterly tenants, the landlord must give at least 3 months notice before eviction. And for yearly tenants, the landlord must give at least 6 months notice before eviction. So if your landlord tries to evict you without proper notice, you have a legal right to challenge such eviction. Even if your rent expires, your landlord cannot forcefully remove you from the house without following due process. Evictions must go through the courts, and your landlord must obtain a court order before they can remove you from the premises. So if they change the locks or throw out your belongings or even use force to evict you, that is an illegal arrangement and it can be challenged in court. The landlord cannot harass you, enter your premises without notice, or disrupt your quiet enjoyment of the property. If they do, you can take legal actions against them. You must also know as a matter of law and fact that tenancy is a civil arrangement. So agencies like the police have no business in tenancy matters except where they are coming to execute a court order. So aside execution of court orders, your landlord is not permitted by law to harass you with law enforcement agents in order to make you leave the premises. If he does, he can sue both your landlord and the law enforcement agents for the violation of your civil rights. As a tenant, you have a right to live in a house that is safe and habitable. Your landlord has a duty to carry out necessary repairs, especially structural repairs like leaking roofs or faulty plumbing. If they refuse, you can take legal actions or even deduct the repair costs from their rent. Rent increments must also be fair and reasonable. In many states, the landlord must give tenants notice before increasing the rent, usually at least 6 months in advance. If the increment is excessive, you have a right to negotiate or even challenge it legally. So even if you don't have a tenancy agreement, you are not without rights. Nigerian laws provide protections for tenants, and it is important that you know these rights. If you ever face an issue with your landlord, consider speaking with a lawyer or contacting the relevant tenancy tribunal in your state. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also drop your comments if any. Click the follow or subscribe button to stay updated whenever I drop a new legal update.